So let's talk about the state of retail as we head into the new year. It's a really strange picture, isn't it? On one hand, we're seeing these record breaking sales numbers, but on the other, shoppers seem more anxious than ever. How does that even work? Well, it turns out technology has a whole lot to do with it.
And hey, before we dive in, this explainer is brought to you by JustAskGreg.ai from IHL Group. It's a fantastic tool that's really democratizing analyst access for everyone. You can learn more over at JustAskGreg.ai.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down that weird holiday sales paradox. Then, we'll get into the AI revolution that is completely reshaping retail. And finally, we'll look at what all this actually means for how you and I shop. Okay, first up, the holiday sales paradox. You know, when you first looked at the numbers from the big Thanksgiving shopping weekend, you'd probably think, wow, retailers are absolutely crushing it. But once you start to dig in, yeah, the story gets a whole lot more complicated. A little confusing, actually. So let's start with that big, splashy number that was everywhere. $79 billion. That's how much was spent globally on Black Friday alone. I mean, that's up 6% from last year. On the surface, it looks like everyone was out there, wallets wide open, just having a great time. But that's not quite the full picture. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you look at just the US market. Check this out. Online sales dollars went up by 3%, but the actual number of orders that people placed, that went down 1%. So, wait, how is that possible? How did we spend more money while buying fewer things? Well, it's pretty simple, really. The average price for each item we bought shot up by 7%. We were literally paying more to get less. And the craziest part, all this record spending happened while people were feeling more worried about money than they have in decades. A Deloitte study came out saying it was the absolute worst consumer outlook since they started the study back in 1997. Think about that for a second. People are feeling the squeeze, big time, yet the spending numbers keep climbing. That's the paradox right there. And you know, this isn't just some vague feeling of being squeezed. It is very, very real, thanks to things like tariffs and inflation. I mean, just look at these price hikes on some of the most popular items. Game consoles, up 69%. Laptops, up 34%. This isn't about people going on wild splurges. It's about having to spend way, way more just to get the same stuff as last year. So that's the big question, right? If shoppers are so anxious, how on earth did retailers manage to pull off these record sales? Well, the answer isn't just about deep discounts anymore. The secret weapon, the real game changer, is technology. Specifically, artificial intelligence. And we're not talking about some small experiment here. The scale is just massive. On Black Friday alone, AI had a hand in over $14 billion in online sales. Think about that. It's not some little side project anymore. For these companies, it's become the main engine driving growth, getting the right products in front of the right people like never before. Now, one of the coolest things happening in this space is something called agentic commerce. It sounds kind of techy, but the idea is actually super simple. Imagine you're chatting with an AI, maybe asking questions about a product, and then you can just buy it right then and there inside the chat. You don't have to go to another website or open a different app. That's agentic commerce, and it's a huge deal. And we're already seeing this pop up in some pretty mind-blowing ways. For example, ASOS has an AI that basically acts as your personal stylist, putting together whole outfits for you based on what you've looked at before. Or you've got PayPal and Perplexity teaming up so you can buy from brands like Abercrombie and Fitch without ever leaving the chat. And get this, Guitar Center has an AI rig advisor. You just describe the sound you're going for, and it helps you pick out the perfect gear. It's like having a music pro right there with you. But it's not just about the customer experience, you know? AI is also completely changing the game behind the scenes. Puma, for instance, uses an AI assistant so managers can just ask plain English questions about what's in the warehouse. HelloFresh is using AI to speed up designing their recipe cards. A process that used to take months now takes just hours. And Guitar Center is back at it, using an AI customer to help their sales team practice their pitch. Super smart. Okay, so that's all the digital stuff, but how does this tech revolution actually play out in the real world? You know, in the actual physical stores and with getting stuff delivered. Because let's be honest, a slick website doesn't mean a thing if the item you want isn't actually on the shelf when you show up. And that brings us to one of the biggest, most frustrating problems in all of retail, something called phantom inventory. I am almost certain you've dealt with this. The website says in stock, you drive all the way to the store, and
poof, it's gone. It's not there. Well, that little problem cost the retail industry, get this, $1.7 trillion. It's a massive, massive headache. So what's the fix for this phantom inventory nightmare? Well, in a word, robots. Seriously. Companies like BJ's and Harmon's are now using these shelf-scanning robots. They just roam the aisles all day long, checking for out-of-stocks, finding pricing errors, and making sure the data is right. It's all about making sure the digital world perfectly matches the physical one.
And this push for efficiency goes way beyond the store itself. It's all about delivery, too. Check this out. A Dave's hot chicken order that would normally take a car 15 minutes to deliver in a suburb of LA, a drone can do that same trip in just 60 seconds. 1 minute. That's not just faster, it's a total game changer. Your food shows up way hotter, way fresher. It's a better experience, period.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. What do you get when you mix nervous shoppers with incredibly powerful AI and these super efficient logistics? Well, you get a sneak peek at the future of retail. And the thing is, this future isn't some far-off concept. It's being built as we speak. So here's the big takeaway, the most important thing to remember from all this. In a tough economy like this, the smart retailers aren't just trying to cut costs to get by. No, they're making a huge strategic shift. They are investing heavily in intelligence, in AI, in data, in automation, to build businesses that are more efficient, more personal, and way, way more resilient.
And that really leads us with the billion-dollar question, doesn't it? Retailers now have this incredible arsenal of technology. They've got AI for personalization, they've got robots for optimization, they have mountains of data. But the real test, the thing that's going to separate the winners from the losers, is this. Can they connect all those dots into an experience that you and I actually love? One that feels seamless, personal, and, human?